Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
You know, all you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and we got this is an Indian rice lager, right?
It is, man. Basmati rice. That's that long rice, man. From Azadi Brewing.
Right, one of the pilot project breweries.
Doozra is the name of this one. 4.2% rice lager.
Is that like a cricket paddle on there? So yeah, maybe Doozra is some sort of Indian thing.
Doozra meaning the second one.
I guess
Oh,
it says
yeah, you called it.
Oh.
It's the backhand, the back of the hand delivery by an off-spin bowler in cricket.
Does anyone know how to play cricket?
I've never played cricket.
In the world, does anyone really know? Or you just go out there and just do your thing?
Well, there's a lot of people in India.
They're the only people that know how to play cricket?
I mean, who's playing cricket? I've never played cricket.
I've never even seen anyone actually play it, like in the wild.
Right, like, around here you'll see soccer and tickle. I was going to say pickleball and tennis.
Pickleball's now a thing.
Tennis, hoops, flag football. There's golf courses. You ain't going to see no cricket. You're not going to see just like a random pickup game of cricket.
All right, this beer is tasty though. As we don't know anything about cricket, we know this beer is good.
This beer's not bad at all.
I almost grabbed they had a cardamom IPA. And I was like, I don't know if I was down for that flavor. And then I saw this one right next to it. So
Yeah, because you don't know the strength of the flavor, the spice, right? Mm-hmm. It could just be a fucking spice beer, and you'd be like, what the fuck?
yeah. And I was like, I wish I had that rice lager.
Right. This is good to go.
We got 4.5%, so it's got a little more. I feel like a little more body than you might see in like a 3%. Like I feel like rice lagers are often like down in the 3% range, but
Yeah, it's soft. It's easy to drink. It's, it's pleasant.
yeah, just like us.
I just described us.
All right, so I had to make up for lost times.
Yeah, man.
I was out in the burbs doing my thing.
Rocking the suburbs.
Yeah,
I think the universe is back to normal.
I went chasing the burger man.
A biker dude.
Yeah. one of the burger guys.
Yeah.
And I found him over at Riverlands.
Okay. Riverland, St. Charles.
Yeah.
Okay.
My buddy Suburbia,
Oh yeah, I remember him, man.
he says you got to come out.
He was the guy it was him and a guy called the Poor Man, like Pour, and they were like your lens into what was going on out there, But I think he got a gig at the Plank House
First, yeah.
Plank Road or something.
Yeah.
Elgin, and now he's here, I guess. Jeremy Teal.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
He was over there, talked to him for a bit. They had quite a few beers on draft, but he was also saying they are going through beer fast, and people are drinking it, and they're almost having a hard time keeping up with demand. Like, it's just like, I was like, that's amazing.
That's not everybody's story.
And they had this huge patio open, good turnout, especially with the biker burger guy there. And so it was just
A biker dude.
a biker dude.
It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You gotta say the whole thing.
There's too many things to this. He's a guy that makes burgers.
Yeah.
I've never seen a bike, ever.
I never see a bike either.
He needs to have the bike or the motorcycle next to it so I can remember
This is true.
that this is what's happening.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So they had a good turnout. I don't know if it was just for the burgers or if it was also. It was a beautiful day this last weekend.
I think people are into chasing things. If somebody says something's good, it's like, all right, let's go. You know? Yeah. It is a fun group activity. Well, shit. When you stopped doing it, I started doing it because the shit was kind of fun. You know.
It gives you like an extra reason. Although, going to these places and trying the beer, that's sort of what the podcast is about. That's kind of what we like doing. But if you can do two things,
man, shit.
Yeah, like why not? I'm gonna go to the place where I can get two things I want rather than the place just has the one thing I like.
Right, and then sometimes it's like you may not be motivated to go, but if he's there, you're like, oh, let's get it done.
Do it, yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. So started there. I had a couple beers. I can't remember what I had, but they were tasty. I think I might have had 3 beers.
Riverlands?
Yeah, Riverlands.
Their Oktoberfest showed up well in the
in our standing. Yeah. They had it was a good IPA I had. I think I had a Kolsch, maybe something else. But then I was out there with aunt and uncle and my mom, and they're like, "Well, where are we going next?" There's a lot of options over there. You got Pollyanna, you got Alter,
okay,
D&G. Isn't that far?
Aurora, right? I want to say that's Aurora.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got Sturdy Shelter. You got Energy City, 93 Octane.
That's right.
You got Penrose and Art History, Geneva Ale Works.
Once you leave the city and you decide to go somewhere, you can throw a rock and hit a few more breweries.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big cluster of things right there.
The cat's going nuts. Is that Tokyo?
Yeah, the cat's going crazy. So you have a cluster there, and then you don't have anything for a little while until you get to like the Tight Head area.
Okay.
Off of that like St. Charles, Batavia, Aurora cluster.
I always get turned around out there.
Yeah. But my uncle had never been to 93 Octane.
Okay.
And I was like, we got stickers right here. It was good. When I went there the first time, they were kind of empty.
93 Octane?
It did not hit like it hit the first time.
Oh, man. So the thrill is gone.
Yeah.
Damn.
We drank a lot of their beers because we were like, I don't like that one. I'm going to get another one. Does anyone want? And there was like a couple where we're like, this one smells kind of weird. I don't know if it's supposed to smell like that.
It was one of those times where, for whatever reason, you took a sip of this beer and you're like, man, fuck this beer.
Yeah, and they were missing, like, their IPA wasn't on. I don't even think they had a hazy on. They were, like, missing core beers where they had, like, a bunch of sours and they had, like, a blackberry Kolsch that was way too much blackberry. They weren't like bad. I just was not feeling them.
I hear that. The one time I went to Elburn, their logo is a butterfly or bee or something. Damn, the name's escaping me. It was just on the tip. And I had their beer and I was like, you know what? I'm ready to go. Yeah. Obscurity.
Oh yeah.
Obscurity. Yeah. I was like, you know what? This is instead of being happy, now I'm like a little more angry than I was when I showed up.
Yeah. So we had that. Oh, brother Chimp is also out that way.
Oh, okay.
So,
Joliet.
Yeah. So we had they're not Joliet.
No. Where's Brother Chimp?
I think they're north. They're in Aurora.
They're in Aurora. I always thought that was Joliet.
Yeah. So we all had one there, or probably more than one, because we ended up drinking a bunch. And then I was gonna grab some of their beer, but they only had their sours to go. So I was like, I'll skip for now, because that 4x4 we had on the podcast was great.
I liked it. And it was a very cool can.
Yeah. And then knowing who I was with that day, they love some Energy City.
Yeah, they're like, how would you describe them? Well, they're adjunct heavy. They kind of play in that pastry boys.
Dessert beers.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, oh, I'm done after this. So like, okay, let's go there. Let's have one more and then call it after that. So we had one. We all got different things. I think I posted a picture of one and had a few others, like a cherry, I don't know, some sort of cherry one.
Everything's like either cocktail or dessert inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were good. The place closes at, I think, 9 or 10. So we were there almost near closing time. Had one and was like, cool.
It's like, how many
let's
do you
get
need?
out of here. Yeah, I don't need another. And I think Maeve and I shared one because they were just such big beers.
Yeah. Because everything they do 16 ounces.
Right. And then from there, my mom left, but aunt and uncle were like, let's do Sturdy Shelter because I kind of want a beer.
Okay.
Like, I don't.
Like a beer.
I need a beer. Like, that dessert thing was okay.
It's cool, but it's a dessert beer.
Yeah. So we got to Sturdy Shelter 30 minutes before closing time there. Still pretty busy there. And they were shocked at how great the space looked. And I ended up getting, I think, the Italian Pilsner.
Nice.
And it was tasting great. And that, like, hit the spot and was, like, a great nightcap.
We're going to need some Sturdy Shelter today if these tornadoes come like they say.
I know, yeah. Hear the sirens going. The cat's looking for the tornado in the
Cat
background.
is freaking out. That's why I'm like, I wonder if there really is a tornado. You know, these cats, man, they might be onto it.
So that was a good little run with Riverlands, 93 Octane, Energy City, and Sturdy Shelter.
You did it the right way, you know?
Yeah. And although, you know, they all didn't hit the same, but it was just a great day to be cruising around out there, hitting up the spots. They all kind of have outdoor space. I don't know if Sturdy Shelter does, but we didn't sit outside. They do in the back, but it's just a great weekend for it.
Fucking name. And then, well, you said the what's the place? 93 Octane wasn't what it was. How was Burger Guy that day? How was he for you?
It was good,
Okay.
but not as good as the first time.
Oh man.
It's like the chasing that high, man. It's just
It's never gonna feel like that first hit, man.
that's
you
I
know?
think maybe a problem. But I got the one with the Merck's cheddar. That was better than the classic. Like we've got one of each.
Yeah.
That one, it had like the sauce on it, and it just felt a little better.
It's
I don't know
like
how to
it's
say.
richer, it's more decadent, more flavors going.
Right.
Yeah.
The other
like-
one was maybe just a little like, because you have that one, you're like, well, this is good, but it's almost dry.
You can't ask for Mercs on the original.
Oh, you can.
You can. That was my very first time. That's what he was saying. So I did that. Because they're like, well, if it's your very first time, you get the original. And I was like, it's my very first time. He said, but you can't get Mercs. I'm like, well, I'm a sucker for Mercs.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for fancy cups and fucking Mercs. All right? Now I get excited about this.
Right. So, yeah, it was just kind of like, it was good. And I will go have it again, but I think that one made me not have to be like, I need to have this again next weekend.
Okay.
The first time I had it, I was like, I got to go next weekend.
Good,
This was good. I'm good for, at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so you haven't been to any of these four.
I haven't been to any of those places. No, not Riverlands, not 93, not Sturdy.
Energy City.
And not Energy City, no.
Okay. All totally different vibes going in there, different places, like just different design. Like Riverlands is probably the most classic brewery beer pub thing that you would like think of when you walk in there like, oh yeah, this is a brewery.
Which one would you rank as the top one for experience, just overall experience?
I think Sturdy Shelter
Okay.
is the best. I think they are making some of the best beer out that way.
Okay.
I think they're just overlooked and no one they don't can or anything, so no one's trying their stuff unless you're going there.
Right, or if you had them at Bug. And we might have tried them at Bug, but Bug is such a blur.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll try them at Oak Park. Well, we got to answer the Oak Park people.
Oh yeah, we do have to answer. Oak Park's coming up.
We're not very good at this kind of shit. Just one of these days, we're going to get it together.
People will email and like, did you email? No. Should we email them? I guess so.
Yeah, so. But yeah, that would be Bug and Oak Park. Good place to try the breweries.
For sure. So you weren't out in the suburbs. You stayed in the city.
Yeah, I went south, man. I went hunting for records on the other side of town. And that's a good excursion. You either leave the city or just go to another side of town that you don't go to. So I ended up out south, past Sox Park in Inglewood looking for records. But Inglewood is 58th, and the plant where Weiner is 46th. So I'm like, if I do anything out here, it would be Weiner. Because it's like the lone brewery that far south.
Right.
It's either that or fucking Horse Deep Hollow and shit all the way down south.
Right. And I think on the last podcast, or maybe it was afterwards, I was like, I hear Weiner has a burger.
Right. And that's really what sent me in that direction because I'm like, well, what's going on with this burger? So, so I went and it's called Heifer's Barbecue.
Okay.
Heifer's Barbecue has replaced the pizza joint, which I forget the name of the pizza joint, but the pizza joint was on another floor in the plant. They moved into Weiner, and now they're replaced by the barbecue people.
Oh, shit, okay.
Right. This is what the barbecue people were saying.
But they have a burger?
Yeah, so they got a brisket burger, smoked brisket burger at Heifer's Barbecue. So Heifer's, when you talk to them, they said that they ended up here because they've done pop-ups with Kimski's before, and then I think Mars, and they did another brewery.
Okay.
So that was kind of their thing.
That's kind of disappointing. The pizza place is gone. I thought they were still doing some of the pizza too, because the pizza was great.
I missed out on the pizza, but I do remember they used the grains from the beer to make the pizza dough, I think.
And it was like tavern style pizza, so it was great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, this place was full, man. The problem with this event, there's two problems. One, I showed up late and missed the burger. That was the first problem. But then the second problem was the burger was on special for $10 that day. And it started at the same time as the record thing, both at 1 p.m., so I missed it. So yeah, I ended up getting the brisket sandwich, which is not the burger.
Yeah,
So-
but how was it?
I mean, it was fine. I think I just had FOMO from not getting the burger because we're on this burger thing, So yeah, but it looked really good, and they only brought 20. So we make fun of a biker dude for only potentially bringing 20 burgers.
But he has more.
He's got way more burgers, and he's been mapping it out for years. But these people only literally brought 20 burgers.
Yeah, I would give a biker dude 60.
These boys brought 20 burgers. And they sold them for $10 each, so they were gone. So I'm like, I get there on a Sunday, I'm like, man, it's on and cracking at fucking Weiner, And then I found out, that's part of it.
Well, $10 special on a Saturday, that seems like silly. You only have 10 burgers, or 20 burgers. Sell it for the full price.
You brought 5 goddamn burgers.
And you made them buy one, get one free. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. So,
That-
but they had a elotes and nachos with queso and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
A little heavy-handed on the for the elotes. The elotes were a little soupy.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's how elotes works.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not, I don't have a taqueria, but I'm here to report the elotes were too goddamn soupy.
Okay.
So.
I'm not a big fan of them, so I never order it, so I have no opinion of them. There's like a trend of barbecue places and breweries, and now these burgers and breweries. It was pizza and breweries.
Yes.
And those are basically your only 3 options for food, kind of. Pizza, burgers, or barbecue.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't-
And this was more of a smoke thing. Like this was more like they focused on the smoking because I don't remember having any sauce.
Oh.
You know?
That's a different style.
Maybe. Yeah.
The dry barbecue.
Yeah. I remember thinking, well, they didn't give me any barbecue sauce, man. The brisket sandwich.
Did you just order? You got jerky, man.
I got,
That's jerky.
okay, let me get jerky. Can you put on a brioche bun for me? Add some pickles. Thanks.
I was chewing a lot. So I don't know because if you go to Udon East, you got barbecue.
That's right.
Metropolitan.
Oh
they
shit!
basically
Yeah,
have barbecue.
Yeah, Soul and Smoke's right there.
There's someone else with barbecue.
It is trending. You're right about that.
Like, I enjoy barbecue, but I don't know. I guess I always don't know. I think pizza was nice because the bread of the pizza, and I don't know. I like pizza. Pizza and beer made sense to me. But
That's a lot of.
the burgers and barbecue, I don't know. They work. They work pretty well.
Yeah, it's a lot of hit and miss barbecue in this town.
Yeah.
You know.
That's maybe my problem, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't seek out too much barbecue because, like, sometimes they're not great. Like, a bad burger is like, okay, that was fine. But a bad barbecue, you're just like, I don't need barbecue for a while.
Right.
It's like you get
just swear-
upset. You're
you
like,
swear off the whole
"Oh, it's
category."
okay. I don't need to eat this again for a while.
It's true.
I feel that about like sometimes get Middle Eastern food where I'm like, that place wasn't very good. I'm good for a while. They fucked it up.
There's a place up the street, and it looked really good on paper, and I got it. It looked great. I had it. It was just all right, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, that itch was
Right.
scratched.
Pizza's another one where it's like, bad pizza. It's pizza.
It's still pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when it's bad, it's still okay.
But how was the beer at Weiner?
Oh man, I got a.
As we talk more about food lately.
You
on
know,
the show.
yeah, what's wrong with us? No, they had an orange wit at the old Weiner.
Okay.
And then I got a Le Tub.
Nice.
And they say if you want to know what the true interpretation of Sophie is, you drink Le Tub. That's what they said at the at Goose.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always try to get Le Tub. They're both like 6.4%. They do a good job in that space. You know, these kind of wild ales.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space. It's a good hang.
I do like that space.
If
Yeah.
you're ever over out that way, you have to go. And if you can make it for the burger, I guess. Is this burger all the time?
I'm so confused because it's like, all right, I'm just hearing about this place, so maybe I'm out the loop. But I'm like, if you guys just started your residency, why are you giving away the burgers like this?
Right.
How the fuck am I supposed to try this burger? You only made 20 of them, and they were $10.
That's right. You do special on like a Tuesday. You do special on Saturday.
The fuck? I don't know. It was weird. I kind of hope they do it again because I would go back.
Okay.
Because I do like the beer Weiner, and for all the reasons you said, it's a cool spot too.
But now you have to get there when they open.
It's the lone dot on the map. So like once you get, you got South Loop, and then you got Bridgeport where Sox play. But then from like Bridgeport, which is like 39th Street, all the way down to 110th Street, the only brewery in the city is this one. And it's like so bizarre. It's like a very dry, unless I'm missing somebody. From Mars all the way to...
Right, because you had Jolly Punk, or that would have been, yeah.
And that was a satellite location. They didn't even brew there, but it was a brewery. At
Yeah.
least it was a brewery on 55th, right in Hyde Park. Yeah, and then Argus is closed. So I think Weiner is the only brewery south of Bridgeport.
Moody, but that's basically South Loop.
Right. So. Moody's like 22nd Street.
Yeah, and we're not going there.
Yeah, the court of public opinion it's bad.
So yeah, I can't think of anything. Okay, yeah, you'd have Pilsen, but yeah.
So I mean, but I would go back in the summer. That's what summer's for.
Yeah,
just kind of exploring the city more. So
for sure.
It was good. It was nice to get over to Weiner.
Cool. Any other stops? Any other beer you pick up?
Man, that's all I did, man.
Oh shit. Okay. I don't know. Pretty good suburban city romp there for us this past week.
Yeah, man.
There was a fest we missed. We missed the Sour Fest at Revolution.
Freedom Fest.
Freedom Fest. I saw
All their kettle sours.
I saw Mike Zoller posting about this because he had their new hop water.
Because they were selling someone else's hop water, weren't they? Didn't we call that? We said, hey, you guys are gonna either start making cider because you're always selling cider, or you're just gonna make a non-alcoholic product because you're always selling like. What's
Topo Chico and
what's Bob Egan's thing?
Moonshine.
You're always
Juneshine.
Juneshine. You're always selling that kind of stuff. So them making a hop water kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. So there was Freedom Fest that we weren't invited to. I didn't even know about.
I was aware of it, and I do enjoy their Freedom series. Mm-hmm. I think it's the thing I'm most likely to drink outside of Deep Woods.
Right.
Like, I don't really drink Anti-Hero. I don't really drink the lagers or anything. I will drink those Freedoms. Those Freedoms are really good.
Those are good, yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I didn't. I really had never. I didn't go.
I haven't even seen the Freedoms this summer anywhere that I've been to.
There's a newer one, but they're all Freedom of something. Mm-hmm. My favorite one is the strawberry rhubarb one because it's bright red and it's got the big eagle claw on it and it's gripping strawberries and it just pops. It looks really cool.
That's a good one. So we missed that, unfortunately. So, but that was the only thing I think I saw that we missed for sure. I'm sure there was something else we missed. Was there any fests or anything coming up? We mentioned Oak Park coming up, and
They're doing that Dancing in the Streets. That's the festival on August 3rd and 4th. It's on Tour Brewing. It's like a jam band street fest.
oh, that's right.
So it ends up being like a whole Chicago Brewing District kind of fest.
Yeah, that was
street
pretty
party.
good. I ended up there last year.
It sounds like a good time. I like a lot of those breweries.
Yeah, breweries are good. Bands are meh.
It's just okay.
Yeah, but you can hit up a bunch of those spots and just kind of drink in the street. You can go into On Tour and drink. You can't take the beers you get inside On Tour to the street.
Okay.
So it's basically that. So that's coming up. Check that out. In the news, we saw that Anchor is officially closing.
Yeah, they're ceasing operations. Anchor Brewing, San Francisco.
Like a month ago, I mentioned there was a story that they are pulling back from 50 states,
Yeah.
just focusing on California and doing away with Christmas ale.
Yeah.
And everyone was basically like, that sucks. Christmas ale is like the only thing anyone wants. You could just do Christmas ale and that's it.
You could be the Christmas Ale Brewery.
And so that happened. And then a month later, they're like,
You know what? Fuck it all.
yeah.
Yeah, we're done. It's the oldest brewery in the Bay. Are those sirens again?
Sirens again. Hear the rain picking up.
1896.
Okay.
I went to Anchor. I went to Anchor when I was in San Francisco for like 48 hours. And it's a really cool spot. On the tour, they were saying that place burned down 3 times. 1896, and I think Fritz Maytag came on board in 1965.
Okay.
So it's a long history brewery. I think a lot of craft brewery in the modern sense kind of started on the West Coast as far as like influence and focus on styles and shipping beer from coast to coast. That's all pretty much started on the West Coast.
Right.
So, yeah, and they were even saying on the tour that the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale actually started as a yeast strain that was developed at Anchor. Yeah, and Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Now, these are beers, my phone says I haven't drinking Anchor since like 2017 at some Hop Leaf dinner. But Anchor and Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is a really pivotal beer because Nick Floyd will tell you that Alpha King is based on Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So these are important beers and important breweries. So
it's a little shocking that they're closing after they were purchased or bought.
Sapporo bought them for like 85 mil.
And then basically sold them back to them, right?
We might get our stories mixed up because that happened. Constellation Brands dumped their breweries back onto whoever they bought them from.
Yeah, then something happened where Anchor left that, and now they're done. Like, what? Did whoever sell it to them the first place was like, cool, I'm out. And then it came back, and they're like, no one's here that wants this.
The beer category is flat. If people are growing, it's slowly. And a lot of people are not selling as much beer. A lot of people haven't bounced back from the pandemic, you know?
It's true.
So if your model is, and that's what we were talking about Goose in the pre-show, and, you know.
Well, there's the other story that AB, or Bud Light, is now the 14th most popular beer in the United States. And the CEO came out and basically he was like, think of these jobs. Think of the people who work here, basically, as people are boycotting this or not drinking this. So, like, drink our beer for the employees kind of thing. But
That's bizarre.
for a beer that was number 1 4 months ago is now 14, and then Anchor's closing. It doesn't look good for big beer. But then Goose just expanded their Shanghai tap room. Or they added another tap room in Shanghai.
Was that in China?
Yeah.
A lot of people in China.
Beer's not growing here in the U.S., apparently.
Right. But maybe different in other places. It's interesting because they and a lot of how you're set up to sell beer. I think the reason Anchor pulled out in all these states is because it's like, well, fuck, you know how much it's going to cost us to sell Anchor Christmas Ale? even if we pull back and distribute a Christmas ale, to like 12 states, it would be still expensive.
Sure.
And we know for a fact that's what most people are going to want. So let's just pull everything back, and then let's just not sell beer at all. That's man, that's a wild turn of events. Let's just not sell any beer at all. After like, a month and a half ago, you were just going to sell beer in Cali.
Right. I just try to think of this as, it's crazy to think because if, just talking about Goose, if we just use that because it's Chicago, if Goose is all of a sudden like, you know what, we're going to stop making Bourbon County and we're going to just go back to selling beer mainly in Chicago and then our brew pubs.
Part of me thought that
right, wouldn't that be crazy?
It wouldn't be that crazy because Bourbon County, you can go to a lot of stores in Chicago and get every single one of them that came out last year right now.
They're just saying we're not going to make this anymore.
Yeah, what if they said that? And I was thinking this year when they come out, because that preview party is usually in October, which ain't far from now. It's 2 months away. Like, what if Goose said, "Hey, you can only buy this beer at Goose." So that's Fulton, Clybourne, Salt Shed. You can only get it here. And I was thinking, like, well, they can't do that because they're designed to sell beer in like 20 states all at once. That's their model
right.
for this beer.
Unless this isn't happening, so just thinking of it on an anchor, if they all of a sudden like this time it's like this is the last year you're going to be able to get Bourbon County in all 50 states.
Yeah.
Pull one of those to maybe try to bump up demand, and like maybe they do it, maybe they don't do it, and then next year be like, cool, now we scaled this back. It's only available in Chicago this year.
Right. Like, how fucked up, this is a very good point, because how fucked up were things at Anchor that they said, well, we're just not going to sell it at all?
Yeah.
How fucked up are things over there?
That's what I'm trying to, like, compare it to Goose, because that's our
Goose, there's no way Goose would do that.
biggest brewery here.
Goose, at minimum, you would just say, hey, this is our curtain call. This next Christmas is the very last time we're selling this beer. That seems to make more sense.
Right. Why didn't Anchor just keep going for get paid on that Christmas sale?
It's our farewell tour.
And then be done.
There's no way to do it. I don't know.
Wouldn't you do one last show?
One last show. It might suck. It might be.
You charge a little more for it?
It might be packed.
Yeah, you charge a little more?
It's very bizarre. So, yeah.
Do one more show, Anchor.
One more show, man. One more show. Here we are, people. Like, I haven't had the beer in fucking 8 years. Well, maybe not 8.
I think
but like
I end up having at least one Anchor Christmas because the buddy loves all the Christmas beers and he buys them, and he has a huge basement full of Anchor Christmas beers, and he buys like a 6-pack and drinks a 6-pack, and then so he can keep trying them over the years.
Yeah, California Common. The steam beer is California Common style. I actually dig that beer. If someone broke it out, and then it comes in the cutest little teardrop, copper colored bottles, those brown bottles, very cool artwork. I never really got into the Christmas ale. I know they have them in magnums and people, gather and do flights of them.
Right.
I've had it. It's cool. I never got into it. I always thought the steam beer was really good though.
But they would have had to start brewing the Christmas beer probably about now to roll it out all 50 states, be ready to go in packaging and everything. It was probably about starting to be like, someone was like, "Are we doing this?" And they're like,
Yeah, I'd love to if people talk about the economics behind it, because that's how Lagunitas ended up in Chicago. They're like, man, this brewery pays for itself if we just stop shipping beer to the Midwestern California.
You're right.
Yeah, you think about that. Like, they'd rather build a $50 million brewery than to pay to ship beer. So there must be a heavy price tag slinging this beer outside of Cali. It's got to be. That's the only reason. That's the only thing you could think, right? Like, it's got to be. And then they live in San Francisco, right? Like the Anchor's in San Francisco, so I don't know that on its own is probably a hurdle, right? Shit's probably really pricey.
Yeah, so maybe like just the actual being the brewery in San Francisco was becoming an issue. I haven't thought about that. That's kind of a interesting problem too.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's too bad. But 127 years.
That's a pretty good run.
Pretty good run. Pretty good run.
You would have thought somebody would have just kept it open as The Anchor Brew Pub.
I hope it's a library or something, museum. You know, it's funny. I saw something.
Should get like a historic building.
You know, and everyone's like, you know, all sad and shit about it closing. And you know, it had its fans. So this is on Twitter. It's just fucking funny. Iconic beer, you will be missed. And then someone replies, it's like the dude who's crying about his wife leaving, but you know he's just spending every night with strippers doing coke.
So yeah, there you go. You had to drink Anchor for a long time, but you're gonna miss it, right?
Yeah, you know.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think that's more likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever talked about Anchor.
See. See.
Talked about it twice recently. Damn. So, all right. Anything else to mention on this episode?
Man, shout out to Funky Town, man. They won the American Dream
I saw
Award
that.
from fucking Sam Adams.
Hopefully this isn't a curse.
Well, who was it before?
Bulldog.
Bulldog won, and then Bulldog was out of there. And there are some similarities. Well, I like Funky Town. I like Bulldog too. They both make good beer. Bulldog won this award. They were contract brewing. And I think part of the award is you get good placement at JBF, and then you get to make a beer with Sam Adams.
Yeah.
But then shortly after that, Bulldog was gone.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And when their beer was better than ever because they were brewing it with Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Funky Town won this award.
And they're contract brewing with...
They're contract brewing with Pilot Project. So there are some similarities. Some from Chicago. So I hope Funky Town does not go the path of Bulldog. And then just out of nowhere, making good beer, winning awards, and then fucking you're never to be heard from again.
Right.
Pilot Project is not a contract brewer. It's more of a program that you graduate from.
We're drinking Pilot Project beer right now.
And there's a word for that that escapes me, but it's not a contract brewing in the traditional sense.
Like an incubator.
Thank you. It's an incubator.
Yeah.
Right. So, hopefully this leads to more cool things from the Funky Town Crew.
Right. Hopefully it leads to their own space.
Right. You got to have your own space. Even if it's a tiny space.
Right. You don't want to go too big and then you shut down.
Look at Fire Rabbit. Fire Rabbit had so much space. They were brewing for fucking Ale Syndicate and Hot Butcher at one point.
Right. And we've started the rumor that Great Central will close.
Everybody's pulling out of Great Central.
And then phase 3 is in this Fire Rabbit space.
You mean Hot Butcher.
Hot Butcher.
Hot Butcher.
That's all. I don't see a lot of Hot Butcher on this. Some of these, like I don't see Hot Butcher in like your corner liquor store. If you go to Binny's and stuff, it's there.
That's a tough
Where's all this Hot
play.
Butcher beer?
You ever been to that? You've been in that space, that Fire Rabbit space?
Yeah.
Man, that is no joke. That place is huge.
It's huge and empty.
Dude, it's like they got like fucking 15-barrel tanks in that bitch.
Right.
They can make a lot of beer.
But you can put so many more tanks in there too. Like it has room to grow.
You know, whoever owns that joint is renting it to whoever's the tenant is.
And they're banking it.
That is a tall task
Right.
to get that thing humming. And then especially, and the hoppier styles are more expensive. We talked to Old Irving about that. They're like, hey, we love hoppy beers. We had to quit making this one really good hoppy beer because it just cost too goddamn much.
Right. We could sell this other one and people just buy it on the name.
Man, so I wouldn't be surprised. I love Hot Butcher, and I think that they're killing it in Half Acres on space.
Sure.
But if they shed this other operation, that wouldn't surprise me.
They're like, that was too big for us.
Dude, it's a big space, man. It's a big fucking space. You know?
Because they still have the suburb spot, right?
No, they moved out. Remember, they were at Miskatonic.
Oh, that's
So they left Miskatonic, bought Five Rabbits' old space, and then bought the old the original Half Acre.
okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not too much. I thought they had 3 still.
You could run it all. I mean, I don't know. But if people are closing, you assume beer is tight. You know.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if the Five Rabbit space goes back up.
The good news is, Funky Town could contract brew out of
Hot Butcher.
out of Hot Butcher.
That's true.
There you go.
Man, lots of plays to be happening.
Yeah.
Cool. That's going to do it for this episode then. Nick, where can people find you? Get in touch.
Hey, man, I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter, BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass, Twitter, Threads, Instagram.
The old threads. I did take a look at the threads.
And website, chicagobeerpass.com. Episodes are up there. And who knows what burger or beer we're going to be chasing this week. Take care.
Cheers.